Hello, my most amazing artists. Today, we are going to come in and we are going to talk about how we are going to create these sunflowers in support of Ukrainian citizens and inspired by the artist Vincent van Gogh. So, to start, we're going to open our Model Magic. I'm going to cut across the top and rip this open. You should have a piece that looks like this. Now, what I'm going to do next is roll it out just slightly, break this piece in half, set this piece aside, break this piece in half again. You should have two small pieces and a larger piece. I'm going to roll them into spheres so that you can see that a little bit better. I start by just rolling my hand in a circular motion to make a ball or a sphere. Okay, you can see that this one is slightly larger than the other two. I'm going to set him aside. These two are going to get flattened into little pancakes or little cookies. This technique, when we flatten clay in order to construct something, is called the slab technique. Let's do it again. Use the heel of your palm, this part, not your fingertips. There you go. Now I have two. They're roughly the same size. I might make this one just a little bigger by smushing them out. There we go. Now I'm going to set those aside. This piece, I'm going to roll it out into a long coil. This is like a long rope of clay. Notice how I'm just gently laying my fingertips across and rolling outward. If you see a spot that looks a little thicker, try to roll in just that spot to make it even. You want this piece to be from your elbow at least down to your fingertips. You can see that here. Oops. Yeah? Okay. So then, let's talk what's next. I'm going to take this, wrap it in half. Do not let these tails touch. Here, I'm going to pull very quickly to break it in half. Here, I'm going to do the same thing. Break it in half and break this one in half. They should be about the same. Line them up. Break it in half. Break it in half. Let's break this one in half. And break this one in half. You should end up with 8 pieces if you did that, and then you're gonna do it one more time. Break, 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 break in half. Now, let's talk about what we're gonna do with these pieces that we have in front of us. We are gonna create petals. So I'm gonna start by laying this circle down in front of me, and I'm gonna set these out of our way really fast. I'm gonna show you how we are going to create a few petals in order to put them on my sunflower. I'm going to roll them out into a sphere, roll a small coil. I am going to take my hand, put it beside my clay, not on top of it. I'm not karate chopping. Put it beside it. Lean over at a tilt and roll back and forth. That's going to give you a pointy end. And same thing here. And then I'm going to flatten that, push it down. Try to make sure it's pretty long. It should be about the size of your finger. And then you want to stick that. Make sure you have a good amount on here, but not all the way in the middle, okay? Now let's do it again. Roll it out. Just like so. Stick it down. Okay? We're going to do this and we're going to place them right beside each other and work our way around the outside. Now, if you don't flatten them out completely, you will run out of clay before you get to the end. You don't want them to be super thick. They shouldn't look like a green bean. They are flower petals, so they should be nice and delicate and thin. Stick them on, work your way all the way around the outside. Now, I'm going to skip ahead, but when you're done, we're aiming for something that looks like this, right? So we are working all the way around the outside edge. Then, this piece is going to get stuck on top. But first, I'm going to take a pencil and create some texture. Notice the way I'm laying my pencil on its side and creating a ring all the way around this piece of clay. Then I'm going to dot inside there to create some sunflower seeds. I'm kind of spiraling them into the center. And when you have all of your petals on here, I know I'm jumping ahead. When all of your petals are on here, you're going to lock them in place by putting this one on top of your other one, gentle, And then when we're done, we're gonna pick this up very, very carefully. And let me show you with the other one how I'm gonna do that. Let me show you. So let's say I've completed my sunflower. I'm going to very carefully lift it off the table. Try to grab it by the thick part down here, not by the flower petals if you can. Lift up, flip it over, hold it in your hand. Take your coffee filter, lay it on top, and flip it back over. This is going to allow our petals to stand up and dry in a more 3D way. Then all I have to do is take a marker and write my name and my class code. Don't forget your class code on my coffee filter, not my flower. We're gonna paint that later. So I'm gonna put it in the coffee filter and listen for directions on where we set this sunflower. I hope you have a lot of fun making your own. Let's give it a try. Hello there, my most amazing artists. Today, we are gonna come back and talk about how we can paint our sunflowers to look a little bit more realistic. It's a pretty simple process. Let's get started. Over here, I have a tray of paint. You should see something similar at your table. I have yellow, orange, and black. Before I even touch the paint, I am going to take a Sharpie marker, and on the back of this, I'm gonna write my name and my class code. Do not skip this step. We can't do it after it's painted. It would be very tricky. And your class code. Don't forget to write whatever your class code is on the back. Then, put your Sharpie away. You're going to take out your paintbrush, and you are going to begin with the color yellow. Dip your brush in yellow and be very careful when touching this surface as to not push too hard. It is very easy to break these thin petals. Work carefully, and if you accidentally snap off some leaves or petals, it is okay. We will glue them back on next week. You want to paint both the back side of these petals, not the middle section with our name, and you want to paint the whole front side, including the center, with yellow. Okay, including this part. So I'll go ahead and show you what that looks like. Okay, now that my flower is painted, I'm going to come back, and anywhere I see there are globs of paint or anywhere I see white spaces, I'm going to try to smooth and spread that out, make sure I have even coverage across the top of my sunflower. Then, once that's done, and I'm sure that I'm done using the color yellow, I'm going to come over here with orange, dip once, touch around the outside of the center, and from here you're going to gently brush halfway up, smooth it out halfway up the petal, just a little bit. You don't want to cover the entire petal in orange, like I said, about halfway up. From here you're going to get a little bit more orange into the center, blend that out. And the very last thing that we are going to do is we're going to add the sunflower seeds, which are a little bit darker. And so the way that we do that is we're going to take just the tiniest amount of black on our brush. Teensy tiny. Look what I do here. Take the corner of my brush, dip it in that black paint. Do you see how much is on there? It's not a lot. That actually might even be too much if you're not careful. Then you are going to touch and tap, spiraling outward all the way around the center. And then just keep pouncing up and down to create a nice brown and an interesting texture. Pounce up and down, gentle, all the way out to the edge. Okay, and when you're done, you should have a sunflower that looks pretty similar to this. And then all you have to do is take that and drop it back into your coffee filter, and you should be finished. I hope you have fun. And make sure you clean up any mess that you make today. Have a great time.